everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
It's JD.
It's JD, everybody. It's JD. It's always JD.
Somewhat staccato JD today. Sometimes I elongate it and draw it out. Today we're getting right to the fucking point. It's JD.
Yeah. We're real factual. That is, in fact, JD allegedly. We do have to throw in an allegedly because of the pending lawsuit.
There's a pending lawsuit?
Oh, are you not aware you're being sued about your identity and whether you really are or are not Jeremiah Proverse?
Oh, thanks for throwing my government name out there, Michelle.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty sure I've
Michelle
told
Roller
everybody,
is happy to do that.
I'm pretty sure I've told everybody that it's Jeremiah Daniel. So, it is what it is.
I
Hi, guys.
always forget it. You've told me the middle name hundreds of times. I will never remember it. Ever.
You could just try to, you call me Jeremiah Dog. That'd be cool, right?
Do you want me to call you And who's here with me? Jeremiah Dog. It's always right. Jeremiah Dog.
Absolutely, every time.
I like the radio name. Yep.
It's beautiful.
What's mine?
Hi, everybody.
Michelle
this is We
Cat.
Watch Shudder.
Meow.
Geez. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to have to compensate for just a little bit of a delay here tonight because I feel like I'm stomping over you a little bit more than I intend to already a minute and a half into this episode. That's the thing I do a lot, guys. If you're tuning in for the first time, a big part of this episode is how often is JD going to stomp all over what Michelle is trying to say because he's a loudmouth jerk.
2 minutes in, take a shot. JD said something self-derogatory and was in his head about something. Take a shot.
Michelle,
we watch Shudder drinking game.
Let's not get into the drinking game again today. Legit, though.
I'm going to keep bringing it up because I am keeping a list of drinking game items, and I'm going to make a bingo card. You don't just make one.
That's something we're going to do at a con sometime, isn't it? We're going to have an after hours, and we're all just going to take... I get to bow out because I have medical excuse with regard to my liver being all fatty.
Oh, well, we can get you shots of Red Bull so that it feels like you're participating.
Have I told you about my blood pressure, Michelle?
Yes, but that is no excuse to not enjoy the nectar of the gods. It gives you wings. Sometimes those wings come in the form of being an angel because you died due to too much Red Bull.
You know who else died? My mom! She's up
Your
on the wall.
mom!
You guys can't see
Take a
this,
drink.
but we do hope to maybe someday start doing some video-related content. And I put my mom up on the wall where she can watch over me when I'm doing all my silly podcastums. Also, while I'm playing Magic on Arena, so she's like my good luck charm. The picture is unorthodoxly, I don't know if that's a word, unorthodoxly large. This is the kind of stuff that somebody tuned into this thinking we were going to talk about horror movies, and they walked headlong into this.
Take a drink. JD referenced that, yes, we do talk about horror movies.
Shut up. This cannot become our podcast now, Michelle.
Our podcast is completely talking about the drinking game related to our podcast and getting our listeners drunk.
Please, no.
That is the only thing we do now. We don't talk about movies. Oh, man.
Legit, though, if this is your first time checking out the show, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming around. If you've been listening for a while, thanks as well. That's pretty cool of you. Yeah. We're talking about a new Shudder release today.
Can I do a tiny therapy portion?
Oh, of
just
course.
For old time's
sake?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's the thing, Michelle, is at this point, I feel like the therapy portion is just going to happen. So I go how I'm feeling it, and I'm like, sooner or later, we're going to hit that brick wall anyway. So, and apparently...
That's fair.
We've hit it.
Right
so
now.
Have at it.
I just gotta say that I have been so in my head about the new segment of Michelle in the News, and we've only released 2 episodes, and I have been doing this thing of like, oh my god, it's spotlighting myself, people hate it, people hate me, this isn't good, people might have liked the first episode, they're gonna hate the second, and I just gotta say, I got some messages from some of the listeners, and some of them made me cry. They weren't even heartfelt. It was just like, hey, it's pretty cool that you mentioned this movie. And I was like, you're listening, and you reached out because they had a positive impact on you in a tiny way. And like, that was all just very nice when I've been in my head about it,
well,
and thinking
that's
everyone
awesome.
hates me. So
yeah. I mean, I do also want to say, Michelle, like, don't get me wrong, I totally understand, like, expecting the worst and like, oh, everybody's gonna hate this and why would I ever even bother doing it? But
my entire comedy career.
I actually, like, in all seriousness, I mean, I joke about it a little bit because I like to turn everything into a dig at myself. But I think that's a thing that a lot of people would find very useful because, you know, the world is fucking crazy busy right now and there's so much shit going on. A lot of people just don't have the time or the superpowers to churn through as much shit as you do. So for you to be able to grind it up and filter it out for us is incredibly helpful. So
I'm like a cheese grater. I take that big old block of cheddar and I make it consumable, and you can put it on your salad if you want to, or an enchilada or whatever. I'm just there to take the cheese and make it manageable.
Michelle,
you might look at a big chunk of cheese and you're like, I can't eat this, but make it tiny shreds. Here you go.
I will say, just as a spin-off of your metaphor, I have definitely, on plenty of occasions, just eaten a block of cheddar cheese by just biting hunks off of it.
I don't like cheddar cheese that much. That's too much cheddar cheese.
I love all the cheese.
Like mozzarella maybe. You deep fry it, I'll eat 30 pounds of it, but cheddar, no.
How many string cheeses do you think you could eat in a single sitting, Michelle?
Oh, God. I don't know, and now I want to find out.
Oh, should we do that?
Do you want to go to Applebee's this weekend and just order a ton of mozzarella sticks?
You can't do the mozzarella sticks because it's got all that breading and such on it that's going to make things even... You won't be able to rack up as many numbers. We got to do just straight string cheese.
Oh, I just got a new bag. I might try this. I'll wait until a Friday night in case my stomach gets really upset.
Michelle.
But like...
That should be our first video drop, is you and me in a string cheese contest.
We were just talking about cannibal mukbang. This
Yes.
can be our mozzarella mukbang. String cheese is mozzarella, right?
Yeah. And mozzarella mukbang. That's hilarious. Okay, we have to talk about this legitimately after we're done recording this episode.
Mozzarella mukbang.
But no, that's it's look, let's be real here. It's not often the therapy portion gets to be so positive. And
True.
That's rad. That's super rad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that no, I first of all, I think it was a brilliant idea because now we get 2 90-minute episodes instead of 1. And that's great for the content numbers, but
the very low content numbers, but the numbers all the same. 1 + 1 still equals 2.
Very low, Michelle. Michelle, we regularly break into the top 100 to 250 film review podcasts in America. All right.
Of which there are 251.
Do you have any idea how many film review podcasts there are in America, Michelle? Like
at least
12,000.
Oh, okay. Well, geez.
Yeah.
Good job, listeners.
We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Now, by the same token, I also know what the literal numbers are compared to the people who are at number 1. And let me tell you, it's a hell of a fucking curve. It's an astronomical curve.
But I've said it before. I love our tiny listener base. I prefer this over the mass public.
We have the most fun. And we have that fun by talking about movies. And what movie are we talking about today, Michelle?
Ooh, great segue. We're going to talk a bunch about a movie called Honey Bunch. The newest Shudder original, starring Grace Glowacki, who will be blowing up our theaters soon. I was trying to make a pun, but she's going to be in Dead Lover, and I've been really looking forward to that. She was previously in Strawberry Mansion, which is one of those hidden gems that once I saw her in this, because I forgot who she was, I have added it to my must watch again this week list, because that movie, phenomenal. It's on Prime and Tubi right now. Check it out.
Sweet.
Anyway, Honey Bunch.
This movie also stars Ben Petrie, who is Grace Glowacki's real life husband. And he is also the co-writer and co-star of Dead Lover.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I only knew it because
I love finding out people are in love.
Oh,
That's
are
so
they in love or
cute.
are they in a mutually beneficial artistic partnership?
Okay, hold up. I am now looking at writer-director. There's two of them. Dusty Mancinelli and Madeline Sims-Fewer. Butchered those names. And their IMDb pictures are of themselves together. But they're in love, too. This is just made by couples, for couples. Man, that makes my heart feel so warm and fuzzy. And oh no, call 911. My heart is disintegrating into a goopy sugar cube.
Oh, and these guys, Dusty Mancinelli and Madeline Sims-Fewer, they also made a movie that I haven't seen, but I recognize, and it's kind of been on my radar. It's called Violation. And
they did Violation?
Yeah, that was their movie, their first feature, I believe.
Oh man, that
Have you
movie's
seen Violation?
Intense.
Okay.
Yes, that movie is intense.
Yeah,
wow.
It looks like they made
we
several...
discover things in real time.
It looks like they made several shorts together. But yeah, that was their first feature, was Violation, and now Honey Bunch is number 2.
Oh, Violation it's intense.
Well, now I gotta put it right up at the top of my to-watch list if Michelle gives it so much praise.
I do not remember if I like it. I think I do, but it was a while ago. I mean, this was 2020, and I think I saw it. I think it was on Netflix in like 2021, so it's been a long time. But I do remember lots of anxiety from it. Cool. And usually that means I like a movie. If it makes me uncomfortable, I'm usually like, hell yeah, let's do that.
And nicely,
I like feeling emotions in my cold, dead heart.
Why would we ever want to feel anything? Nicely, Violation, as with so many fucking things today, is available free with ads on Tubi. So that'll be getting put on the front of the list for sure. Oh, so I just pulled up the page, and Tubi autoplays all the time, and the very first thing that pops up is a disclaimer that says, Violation contains sexual violence, graphic sexual content, and extreme violence and gore.
Yep. All accurate.
Without saying anything in any way like evaluational, that is a completely different fucking movie from the one we're talking about today.
Yes, these are night and day differences.
Well, yeah,
one's
so
a
that one's
Violation,
going
one's
on
a
the
Honey
list.
Bunch. Okay, Honey Bunch. Let's get into it. We delayed this one. I watched it 2-3 days ago, and then, shit happens. Mostly who we are as people. Mostly who I was as a person the last couple days. Partially just panicking constantly. No discernible reason. So I rewatched this again today, and JD, my understanding is you also rewatched it?
Yeah, the plot has some layers to it. And
like
it was one of those where the first time I saw it, my reaction was, I'm not even sure what I thought of this, so I definitely need to see it again to make sure I understood everything that's going on. This is not a background fun popcorn movie. This is one you gotta pay attention to. But I'm glad I got a chance to do it. I think we're gonna have a good episode today.
Excellent. Okay, should I do the IMDb descripy script?
Well, I think you should do the first sentence of it. The rest of it is completely unnecessary.
I agree. I will do one half of the descripy script. I will do the descript. So, Honey Bunch. When Diana wakes from a coma with memory loss, she and her husband seek experimental treatments at a remote facility. Honey Bunch, 2025, 1 hour, 53 minutes. JD, before I ask you for your spoiler-free thoughts, I hope that I understand what they're going to be. I'll just let you know, I think I know how you feel about this movie, and if I'm wrong, I will be upset. Okay. So, would you please hit us with your spoiler-free thoughts? It's been killing me to not know, but I had to reschedule. Yeah.
I would love to. This was a real interesting experience the first time around. Anytime I see an hour and 53 minutes, I'm immediately like, man, this is going to have to be really fucking good for it to be worth an hour and 53 minutes. And so I started watching it, and first, I guess I want to say it's not a horror movie, really. It's got a couple of small moments in it, but I would definitely call it more of a weird fiction kind of thriller. Yeah, in a lot of ways. There's some other elements in there, but I don't even want to say what they are because I feel like it would be giving away too much. But I had an interesting journey with it. Within the first 10 minutes or so, I immediately felt like I had a good grasp on exactly what I was seeing and what was going to be developing in the plot. And as I watched it, I started to develop these layers, and my theories modified a little bit as we got new little pieces of information. And then it turns out, about halfway through the movie, or a little bit more than halfway through, that what I thought was happening, but also absolutely not in the way I thought it was. And then there was a stretch of the movie. First of all, there's a moment right smack in the middle of this movie that I burst out loud laughing at. Is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in a long time. It was just so out of left field. We'll talk about it in spoiler section. I bet you know what it is, Michelle. But anyway, so then there was a stretch of this where it started to look like it was going to be something that I was like, oh man, no, don't do this. Like, you had a real good thing going here. Please don't do this. And then these motherfuckers, they fucking rope-a-doped me. And this came back around, and in the last half hour or so, Michelle, this fucking movie floored me. Like, it is so fucking good, and it presents issues that, this is one of those things where I talk about like a lesser movie would have handled these ideas so much more with so much less nuance. There are so many layers to what's going on here, and I wanted to make sure that I understood everything that I thought I did. But this movie is fucking phenomenal. It's worth every minute of its hour and 53 minutes. We're having a hell of a year so far. This is a 5-skull movie for me. I fucking love this movie. And also, just as an aside, because I do want to talk about it in the spoiler section, so a little bit of a tease. There is one scene in this movie. It's exactly 1 minute long. And it's about 2/3 of the way into the movie. It doesn't even involve any of the main characters. It fucking broke me. Even the first time I saw it, regardless of what I was thinking about the rest of the movie, that one moment is so fucking powerful. And we'll talk about that when we get into the spoilers. That was a lot to say spoiler-free, but it was a lot of movie to think about. Michelle, what are your spoiler-free thoughts?
We had very similar journeys.
Okay.
One of my notes to myself... Oh, yes, JD.
Sorry, let me ask you this. Because you mentioned it before I went in, how close to your prediction was what I actually thought?
100% spot on.
Perfect.
That is exactly... I put it in the spreadsheet before you said it. So, yes, that is funny. Exactly... I wasn't positive because you did message me and say, like, oh my God, I just laughed out loud. Okay, I'm shutting up now because, I like to talk about it.
Yeah,
so then I was like, oh, maybe you're laughing at it, though? And I was like, maybe you hate
I
it,
was
but
very
I don't think
laughing
you would.
with it.
Okay, good. Excellent. So then my thoughts, the very first thing I wrote down was, I know exactly where this is going. And just like you, I knew exactly where it was going, but I was also completely wrong. And that is a delightful experience where it's like, it's not predictable in any way, but it does set you up for the thing that you were expecting to happen, just not exactly. I found on my first watch, I had no idea what number to give this because consuming the whole thing after it got done, I was just all over the place. I was like, I felt so uncomfortable that did I even enjoy myself liking it? But at the same time, the movie was so effective in making me uncomfortable that then that's a good movie. And then so much of it was good, but just like off-putting because it was supposed to be. So I had to rewatch it. And happy to report I am also a 5 skull rating on this one.
Awesome.
Part of it was that I did not like Homer. I wasn't supposed to. And we'll get into that more in the spoiler section. But that just kept throwing me so off that I was like, she's really into this dude and I don't see it. And I felt like some of my friends when they tell me about their dudes and I'm like, why are you with him? That's how I felt for like a couple of like, lady, like he's just like he's like too sweet where I don't trust him. And like this is all an act, and so I felt like I've just been feeling very jaded about men lately, with few exceptions. There's a handful, but like feminist rage playlist is all my Spotify is right now. Feminist rage and whimsy. So that I've just been in a very like I don't know about that. I don't know about that man. I don't trust that man. And then this got me, and I think I was supposed to feel that way. And so I felt very led on in falling for their trap.
Oh, yeah.
And not even like so much a trap. We'll get into it. But anyway, yeah, also a 5 skull. This surprised me. And again, it gave me very much Strawberry Mansion vibes, where I was like, I gotta go rewatch that. So if you like this and you haven't checked out Strawberry Mansion, go do it. It's the same level of weird and whimsy.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 and 5.
That's
great movie.
I was just checking back real quick here, and that's 3 5 skull Shudder releases for me already this year. There was A Desert and Mother of Flies, and now this. This year is going nuts right now. Love this movie. You're absolutely right. This movie is master manipulation, right? It knows exactly, like, it just sets you up with so many things where it's like, oh, I'm too smart for this movie, right? I already know what's happening, and they just turn it on its head just a little bit. It's like you get a refracted version of it. It's there, but it's also completely different. I agree with you. I guess let me clarify. You said you really were not liking Homer at all. Especially on your first time through. Did you have a point towards the end of the movie at any point where your opinion of him shifted?
I have to stop you because I have to get into it in the spoiler section. There's no way I can talk about Homer without saying whether I was supposed to like him or not and how I felt throughout it. So I can't. I was trying to be careful. So just so you know, I completely plan on getting into that, but I know I will spoil things.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So should we just get into it then? Spoiler section,
Absolutely.
Michelle? Right. So I strongly recommend you go see this movie. Look, how often do I tell you that a 2-hour movie is worth watching immediately? That's
Never.
Rare. That's rare.
Yeah.
So so do that before you listen to us spoil everything. Which, as
here's
always,
how much.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Before we get into it, here's how much JD hates long movies. He sent me a clip the other day of an 80-second horror movie that is perfection. And now I know going forward, he's going to be like, oh, this movie could have been 75 seconds. They have way too much in it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Michelle. I wanted to talk about it, but I almost forgot. Let's just do it right here, right now. Guys, this is a movie called Dead Grandma. It's an 80-second horror movie, and really, if you trim off like the credit bits, it ends up being almost more like 65 seconds. Yep. It's very quick. As our friend Jenna said, it's like the film equivalent of one of those 2-sentence horror story gimmicks that you see going around online every now and then. Guys, when I tell you that this is like this fucked me up. The first time I saw it, there's when you finally understand what's happening, it's just like, oh, fuck, no. It's fucking great. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Here's what I love about this. I was doing some reading. Apparently, the original plan was they were going to show it only at, like, one festival and never release it publicly. So it would just be this thing that a few people... Then they were like, I'm so glad they did. God damn, I've probably watched it 10 times already.
Did we say the name of it?
Yeah, Dead Grandma.
I don't recall. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I was like Did either of us say it? So I needed to make sure.
Yeah.
Dead
So
Grandma.
I'm gonna throw. I'm also gonna throw a link up on the socials about it because I think it's that good. So
excellent.
All right. Spoiler section,
Now,
as always, begins with Michelle's review of the story.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a summary, and I gotta say, one of the things that I really like about this movie is it is about a woman who was in a car accident and had brain damage and therefore memory issues and had to struggle with trying to remember all these important things about her past. And I relate to that. That is something I have experienced, and I got so excited to see that in a film. So immediately I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. So we start, though, with a paralyzed wife and a man carrying her into the ocean, and it's real sad. And that's our cold open. And that's all we know. And now we're in a car. And it's the 70s, maybe, kind of. It's the ambiguous thing that movies do now because cell phones are such a problem that they have to make it like an alternative timeline where cell phones don't exist, or it has to be in the past. Cell phones can solve basically every horror movie problem. She could have Googled things and answered questions that she had throughout this movie if she had a cell phone. Everything, horror movies would not exist if people use their cell phones correctly. You can Google literally anything. Yes, JD.
Would you say that applies even in the case of, say, Alien?
I think sci-fi is an exception because they have a different technology where cell phones don't exist.
That's fair.
Alternative timeline. That does fit in. So yes, it has to be in a world where cell phones don't exist because they don't.
Fair enough.
But otherwise, she would have called an extermination company and been like, hey, I got a space bug. Need you to do something about that. Solved. 5-star review on Yelp. Like, come get rid of this big-ass cockroach. See? I'm right. Anyway. Okay, so now we're no longer in the ocean, and Homer is driving Diana. That's the name. His name is Homer, which is just the silliest name for a real life person. I'm sure there's an actual Homer out there. There's got to be at least one, but like I can't think. Like Homer is so Homer Simpson. It's a problem. Like Homer. Anyway. I'm not going to rag on the name Homer. I just think it's very silly. And now I feel like an asshole because there's going to be like one guy being like, "Mo," because his name's Homer. And like, you're fine. It's one of those names I'm always like immediately thinking, don't. So Homer is driving Diana to a rehab mansion. It's like a rehab center, but for rich people. She was in a coma and she woke up with a broken brain. Hey, been there, girl. Not a coma, but I did lose consciousness and then got woken up by the jaws of life. And so all of that made me very excited because I was like, hell yeah, I also have memory problems. This is gonna be great, and it's a somewhat unique experience that I can enjoy. And then no, I can't, because pretty much immediately she starts her therapy at this center, and it's a lot of strobing lights. And partially why I had to go back and rewatch this is that I knew a lot of big horror moments happen in the beginning. I remembered some gurgling, but it's like when I got to those, it erased it. Yes, JD.
I had just typed because I wanted to remember to ask you, like, how did the flashing lights affect you? Because, man, I thought I might have a seizure at one point.
Yeah, it's aggressive, and not that that's the movie's fault,
right.
But on my rewatch, I paused right when she got into that room each time, and then I just like slid my mouse along the timeline and went, okay, here we're safe. And then I remembered the things, and that's so nice. That was real nice to be able to do that. I am glad that they only did it twice because it could have been like excessive and taken huge chunks of the movie away from me. And I'm glad that I was able to enjoy them the second time around. So yeah, there's a bunch of things happening at therapy. She's the only person there right now with what's her name, Farah, and a guy named not Dilbert. Delwyn, thank you. And they're the people there. And Farah's like the, not doctor, nurse practitioner, therapy person, whatever she is. She's probably got a doctorate in something. That girl's got an MBA. No, that's Masters of Business Administration, I think. Never mind. She's got an MDM. She's going crazy in the woods. No, MDA. What the fuck is the drug?
MDMA.
something. MDMA. I was so close. Combine those. Okay. Anyway, Farrah's there, and she's got Delwyn, and Delwyn's also in therapy, and she's helping him with his memory loss, and he's helping set the table, and that's his way of doing good things. And some freaky stuff starts to happen as Diana is going through her therapy. Like, she wakes up and Homer's gone, and that's freaky enough. Where's he out? What's he doing? What woman's he with? Let me check your phone. See, again, no cell phones here, so she was safe. She didn't have to check his phone, find out if is he philandering. But instead she finds a woman drowning / gurgling on the floor instead of her husband. So that's a little disconcerting. She sees a woman who is receiving brain surgery. Later on she touches her own scalp and she finds a scab in that same spot, and the woman kind of transforms into herself. This other girl shows up, Joseph and Josephina, which very silly. Joseph and his daughter Josephina show up to do some therapy too, because she was in a rowing accident, and Josephina bursts a blood vessel while exercising when a memory comes back, and so she's just bleeding a whole bunch of the place. And then memories are coming back in fragments. Like, she's laying there in the bathtub and she remembers this like kind of fun, playful argument that she had with Homer about how her breath was milky. And so she was excited to be able to tell him that she had this remembrance. And then another one later on that's way more serious, where she got a paper cut and he licked the blood off, which is one of those, like, is this creepy or sweet moments. That is the line Homer walks for a good chunk of this film, of just like, oh, like, they're just like, I don't trust him. But then they get into an argument that's actually a deep conversation about how she doesn't want to have to say that she loves him all the time, and she only wants to say it when she feels it, but he needs to hear it all the time. And does her not saying it mean that she doesn't feel it? And that's anxiety, everybody. So basically, I did have quick notes, and I'm trying to figure out, I think I just made a lot of notes at the end because a lot of shit happens quickly. So that's like the first half of the movie is just therapy, kind of like a slow burn type thing. She's having dinner with Homer, and then she's having dinner with naked Homer, you know, just some really weird things going on, and she's like trying to figure out, like, what's this therapy all about. She doesn't fully understand. Farrah is talking to Homer about her treatment and not talking to her. So there's definitely like a lot of like autonomy issues where it's like, why is no one talking to me and they are only talking to my husband? And one thing that I do dislike about the movie is that none of the memories coming back have anything to do with anybody but Homer. And I get that this is kind of like a pseudo romance, but I am like, does she not like, what about her friends, her family? Does she not have any weird experiences remembering them at all? So that was just a side note. Anyway, so Homer goes to confess something, but he winds up collapsing because Diana drugged him, because she also doesn't trust him for good reason. That girl's instincts spot on. So then she steals the car and tries to escape, but then she runs into herself, but with a worse haircut. So the other Diana flees into the woods, and first Diana, primary Diana, chases after her, and they wind up in a room full of Dianas. Well, not full, but like definitely, if you're expecting to be the only Diana, 4 Dianas in a room does seem like a lot. One of them is larger and deformed and is definitely on bed rest and terrible breathing. She's using a breathing mask, so something's gone wrong there. And the other one, her deformity is she's a bitch. So she's restrained to the bed. That's her problem, is she's kind of mean and cranky. So primary Diana goes exploring, and she finds a whole bunch of rooms of clones of other people. My favorite of which is just the guys doing the little synchronized dance together. I don't know why, but just like that little dance. I don't know who that guy was, but I did like whatever his piece of the story was contributing. Like that's the thing that they do. They go, oh, we're bad clones. I guess we're all just gonna figure out a dance together. I don't know. That's just charming to me. And then she finds Josephina, the one who had the hemorrhage in her brain, in a bed with a breathing tube and some sort of terrible neck infection. But then a doctor spots her, and Short Bob Diana addresses her as 5 and tells her to go, so she does. So apparently primary Diana is 5, the 5th clone. What does that mean? And then we see that the doctor who spotted her has a name tag that says Dr. Trefina. whatever, doesn't matter. And she's the one who invented this radical therapy that she's going through, and she hasn't met her, but she's just been hearing all these stories about her and her love for her wife. And of course, because of the society that we live in, it's assumed she was a man the whole time, and then nope, she's a female and a lesbian. Oh my god, there is the patriarchy hard at work in my brain. God damn it. How dare I assume that that was a dude? So then Diana gets captured and sedated. And then we see a quick clip of what happened to Josephina. And it's pretty horrible. It is just in photos with the doctor's like dictation over it, summarizing her medical chart. And essentially she experienced a hemorrhage. And then she had some sort of infection or decaying or something. She said that she started deteriorating very quickly afterwards. So yes, JD.
For some reason, the explanation was the hemorrhaging in her brain wreaked havoc. I remember those words specifically on her immune system, causing her to develop all these horrifying infections.
Yeah, and the photos are not good. Poor girl. And then we come back to Lucius Malfoy. That's who Joseph is. I can't see him as anybody else. That's who that actor is. I know we don't like Harry Potter anymore, but I can't help it that he played that role so well for so long. That's not my fault. That's on him. Yes, JD.
For me, forever, he will be the pilot from Event Horizon.
Oh my god. I just saw Event Horizon for the first time several years ago, and that was definitely after I've seen all of Harry Potter. So that's crazy that I didn't go like, holy shit, Lucius learned how to travel in space? That's the craziest epilogue ever. I don't even care about Harry Potter's kids going to Hogwarts. Anyway, so the doctor is telling Homer that Diana 5... Oh, wait, no, first, we're coming back to Lucius Joseph, and he's learning that the doctor is talking to him and saying that basically this experiment has failed. They can't try again with regenerating, she says, and I quote, regeneration is no longer possible and it would be cruel. So he cannot bring his daughter back. This most recent success, this horrifying, tragic thing that happened to her, it can't happen again. They are done. There's zero possibility that they will have a successful regeneration. So he says he'll just take the one who's on bed rest then. It's better than not having his daughter. And she says that's not possible. And of course, he's a little bit upset about that. You know, like you might be kind of grieving twice. Or even like you might have grieved each time. Like this guy's put himself through the ringer. In the meantime, the doctor tells Homer that Diana number 5 was a success, but they're going to kill all the defective copies. And Homer's like, no, I would like them cared for. And she's like, no, we can't do that. So Homer finally fesses up to Diana number 5, primary Diana, and says that they essentially copied her when she was in a coma and she died 18 months ago. And now Diana is fucking over it. She's like, Homer, you suck. I knew that this whole movie, and everything you've been saying has been very cheesy and insincere, and it feels like you're love bombing me, and I don't appreciate you're kind of like smothering me. You're past supportive. You're very like fuck off. So she goes to rescue the other Dianas, and she gets there before Homer does, and Homer walks in. She hides in a closet, and she's like, oh no, I can't be caught by him. And then this is where we turn it all around, because just a little bit before this, we had this little scene of them in the car right before the car accident happened, talking about how beauty will fade and you need somebody who's willing to care for you through everything, and that love is not attraction, it's devotion, and just very beautiful conversation. And now we see Homer go to the Diana who's larger and deformed and can't breathe and is bedridden, and he's taking care of her, and he's cleaning her gross wound, and he went to read a book. The Odyssey by Homer, like, did he write that book? Did he write the Odyssey? Is that a secret message of this? They're like, oh man, the guy who made the Iliad? That was Homer, right? I don't know a whole shit ton about classic literature. Okay. But I thought it was funny that he's like,
I was curious if you were going to catch that.
Yeah, he's like, I only read books written by people with my name. Like, that's his rule. And he's definitely like an English professor, so that would be a hilarious. He's like, this class is only studying Homers. You know, when Michelle went off about Homers being such a goofy name for real life people, we're honoring them in this class. That is what this is about. This is about how great Homers are. And you know what? Go off, Homer. You've earned it now. So then I spent this whole time not liking Homer, and it immediately turned it around so quickly because it's very typical for somebody to be all talk, which is what he felt like this whole movie. Like, he was taking care of her a little bit, but it felt insincere. And then this happens, and it's like, oh my God, he was serious when he said that he would care for her no matter what. And they are clearly very in love. And then we cut to the doctor pulling a naked man out of a vat and removing his umbilical cord. They smell smoke. And then in what is a very poetic moment for me, we cut to Joseph, and he has Josephina's crutch lit on fire, smashing this house and destroying it. And like, what a great symbol. He's like, you took my daughter away, now we take your house away. And you're, because like, he lit, like, that's a weird choice to make, because I imagine trying to get that thing to catch on fire did take a little bit. Like, how do you do kindling of a crutch, you know? Did he have like some sort of accelerant? I know he couldn't just hold up a lighter and be patient to get that kind of flame. Like, that's a devotion to like, I'm sending a message. Anyway, none of that was serious. Do not send me comments about like, what the fuck? You went off a lot about that part in the movie. I'm an unserious person. And then Homer and primary Diana try to rescue bed Diana, but then cunty Diana gets free and stabs Homer. That sucks. But now and then Joseph goes to Josephina's bedside and kills her, but like lovingly, you guys. It's okay. Like he took her off life support. It's actually very sad. But being like, whoa, what a twist. Joseph killed Josephina? I didn't see. No, he understood he couldn't take her home and just wanted to be with his daughter as she ended it. And so primary Diana and Homer escape. Homer was stabbed, so now he's the one in the wheelchair, and they're at the ocean, and they're being like disgusting. They are so gross, being like, oh, I would burn in hot oil for you, and I would kill a dog for you. And like, it's the conversations that I have with my husband, but it's also the conversations I never want another person to hear. So me being forced to hear it, I'm like, oh, it's so gross. I need to go tell my husband I love him and that I would kill a dog for him if I really had to. But at the same time, disgusting. I hate people like this as I'm people like this. And so she's like, I can carry you into the ocean. Oh, yes, JD?
You might want to talk to your therapist about that.
I have therapy tomorrow.
I do this thing, but I hate it when anybody else does this thing. Sounds a lot like I hate myself.
No, I love love. I just hate Homer's type of love.
I was really glib about that just now.
Yeah. So Homer says that he drowned for her, and Diana says, oh yeah, and drops him in the water. Again, paralyzed, quadruplegised. I don't think he has any body function because he did not flail or anything. And he's just looking up at her and she's looking down at him. And it's like, oh shit, she never forgave him. And it goes on for a while. And it's like, after all this time of taking care, and then she pulls him up and he's like, you're one sick puppy. And they're in love, and it's gross. But I also relate because the happiest couples I know talk about murdering each other all the time. Honey Bunch.
Yeah, that's that movie.
Yep. That's that movie. There's a lot going on. I tried to sum it up, but there's a lot.
No, I think you did a great job. I was throwing down some notes here while you were talking, just some points that I wanted to hit. Many of these I may have completely forgotten what I was trying to say because I just was trying to go quickly. I guess small details. You mentioned Diana, I guess it was Diana 3, and her worse haircut. Did you not catch what was going on there with Diana 3?
No, I didn't catch.
So when there's a moment during the whole thing where Dr. Trefane is finding Diana 5 with Diana 3 and that whole thing. And it's kind of a throwaway line. She says, "I told you to stay out of Joan's room."
Yep.
And then later in the movie, in that last sequence where Homer and Diana 5 are in the room, it's the only time you ever see Diana 3 not wearing the dress. And she says they took Joan's dress. She's been imitating Joan this whole time. That's Joan's haircut. It's the dress Joan is wearing in the paintings.
When she was talking, the doctor was talking about how she kept thinking that she saw, or she was superimposing herself over Joan in her memories and that whole thing. That makes a lot more sense because she was seeing a real life version of it. Nope, did not catch that. I just went like, oh no, girl.
Here's the thing. Let's. That was just a couple of other small things. Did you not catch the dots on the Diana's necks?
Oh my god, they correlate to the numbers, don't they?
Yes. The first time I saw it, I thought it was the same mark on all of them. And then this second time around, I realized, oh no, that's a 3, and there's 2 of them there, and she's got 5 of them. I was like, okay.
And I just thought, oh, that's just another weird thing they did to her. I didn't think of them in relation to one another. Yep, that makes sense.
I got a couple more of these little things that I want to just get out of the way before we get into some of the bigger chat. You talked about how it's like, oh, the doctor is a woman, and I will not lie, I had that exact same experience where I just naturally expect. You know what I did for a moment? I thought Dr. Trefane was Homer. I thought we were going to find out that Homer was the doctor somehow, especially in that scene where him and Farrah are looking at the scans in secret like that. I thought, and also the fact that they never tell us Homer's last name. I thought, oh, something was happening there.
We had a similar, but not quite the same, where I thought that she was Joan, which is what the movie does want you to believe. But like, I completely bought in. I never thought of the Homer being the doctor part 2. I don't know how he would have. He was just the side piece, I guess, in my theory of what was going on. I thought she was married to the doctor, just not Homer.
And then, so yeah, I guess one other thing then before we get into the serious deep stuff, what was it? Okay, now I've completely forgotten what it was. So I guess maybe
you said you wrote notes.
I did. It was one thing that just popped into my head that I didn't take a note on. That was spinning off of something you said. And I've now completely forgotten it, but it doesn't really matter.
None of this does.
None of this matters. So, that's what it we were talking about when they go into the room. Diana 2 is the one that's the sort of grotesque one, right? The one that's suffered the most severe. They talk about how the process can, if it doesn't go well, can cause physical mutations and that sort of thing. And this is, I want to be very, very clear. I don't think anything malicious was intended there. And once I saw it the second time, I realized I wasn't seeing what I thought I was seeing. But for a minute, I was like, oh, man, like this is a weird way to say it, but it's like, we couldn't have just made her with her face all melty and weird and shit happening. We had to make her fat, too.
I had the same reaction.
But then I watched it again, and here's the thing. If you look closely, she's not fat. It's just her arms. Like, if you look at her body in the bed, it's the same normal size. It's this upper area. Also, I don't know if you caught this, but if you look at her hands, her fingers are fucking huge, right? They're like triple the normal size and like even the fingernails, right? They look like Incredible Hulk fingers from Marvel movies, right? So I feel like it was not intended to be a fat person thing at all in that sense. But I had that moment of like, oh man, do we really have to like, I do find it interesting that when they're going through those other rooms, none of the cloned men are weirdly mutated and dying. The only ones, or at least that we can see, the only like Josephina has that weird stuff on her arm, and Diana 3 has weird stuff going on, and of course Diana 2. None of the dudes are all weird and mutated. I thought that was interesting.
That's because it's hard to make the perfect man, and they're gonna keep trying. It's much easier to get a perfect woman. Haha, down with men. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't send me hate mail. I clearly love men. I married one.
You talked for a while,
for
Michelle.
everybody.
Tell us some of your thoughts about this movie.
Okay. I've been thinking about it a lot for the last 2 days. Basically, like, the ethical quandary of it. Like, I do not know if Homer was right to do what he did and determining that he would keep her past, but at the same time, I would probably do the same thing. But also, he fell in love with the one that immediately regenerated, who had the most rejection of the process. And so now, even though he's got 3 copies later, he's still in love with that one. And so it even, like, it's harder for him. Like, Diana 5 is kind of like his second love, and Diana 2 is the number one.
No, I see what you're saying there, but I kind of got the impression that even like when he's talking about the different Dianas, I kind of got the impression that he was in love with all of them because they were all Diana, right? Like,
I also get that,
even
yes.
as you called her, Cunty Diana, when he's talking about her, he specifically says, and I do think it matters, I don't think it's just coincidence in the dialogue, he specifically says, she hates my guts, right? He never says anything about how he feels about her, and here's what we know, is even though she hates him, he was insisting that they all be cared for, right? And so you asked, you said, I don't know. Let's be clear here. This was absolutely the wrong thing to do. From an ethical standpoint, this was very, very, very wrong.
Creating more than one is a problem.
I think, though, because there's that huge moment, right, where she's like, he's talking about it, and he's like, she's like, he's like, I couldn't let you die, and she's like, I died, I am dead. And what that means is she had no choice in the matter, right? Like, he brought her, this is a quandary that for me goes all the way back to the beginning of Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 6, spoiler alert. But it's
I've not
like,
seen it. Go ahead.
no, it's just this intense kind of like, but I love what they do with it, because I think that's part of the story, is they make it very clear that this was a mistake, right? But also they then make it very clear that, as you mentioned, this is maybe one of the most understandable mistakes you could ever see someone make. Another thing I want to point out is, and again, with relation to Homer, you talked about him being very love-bombing, very intense in that way, and I do believe you are correct. He is way too overbearing. He needs to learn how to step back, but there are a couple of moments here that I think give away, like when they're having that conversation about love, he wants her to say, I love you, and she doesn't want to say it. And the argument back and forth is, she says to him, if you say it all the time, how am I supposed to know when you mean it? And he says, but if you say you only say it when you mean it, and then you never say it, what does that mean for me? And so you see that dichotomy there, but also they understand the same thing, you understand both sides. But at one point in the discussion, she says to him, are you just saying it because you want me to say it, or are you saying it because you mean it? And his response is, can it be both? And so I will tell you this, just pulling back I have grown and developed and changed a lot in the ensuing years. I was this guy, right? Like, this is how I reacted in a lot of these things. Everything was legitimate, but it was also all too much. too fucking much. But so I think that's the nuance of this character. He definitely, but that informs why he did it, right? Because it was legitimate. And then you have him continuing to care for all of these variations of Diana that he forced into existence. Because again, to him, they're all her. And then you have that moment where Diana 2 tells Diana 5, we told him to keep doing it for all of us. And again, I don't know that that necessarily justifies it, but fuck, there's so much depth of emotion here. And what it is really is, it's the kind of thing, reminded me a lot of Where the Devil Roams, right? In the thematic sense of what kind of unfortunately terrible decisions will we make out of grief and loss of the things that mean the most to us and the people that mean the most to us. And the point, I mentioned that there was a point, and I'm curious if it was the same for you. The place where I thought it was going to lose me is in that chunk between when we find out, like she has the memory of the accident, and then we get into the exposition bit, and we start to peel back the curtain and see what's going on here. It got a little sci-fi there for me, and I thought it was going to sort of just like keep going down a little bit more of that kind of road, and I was not ready for it. Was that the same thing for you, or was it something else?
No. What is the actual question? I know I didn't have a concern of it going too sci-fi for me.
In the early, in the spoiler-free section, I talked about, and I think you concurred that I thought I knew what was going on, and it was building, and then it gave me what I thought it was, but also not the way I thought it was. And then there was a brief time where I thought it was going to lose me. Did you not have that portion? Or was that just me?
I don't know if I said that, because I don't know if it's... I could have said something that could be interpreted that way, because then it was like, I think I said I felt a little bit lost. Which could be interpreted as me thinking that it was going to lose me. But I think I was lost as in, not confused, but just like, we're on ground I didn't expect to go to.
Fair.
So it wasn't like I might feel differently about this. It was more like, okay, I have a lot of questions.
Because I thought it was just going to turn into this sort of like sci-fi ethical thing, right? I thought it was just going to be about the ethics, and then it became so much more, it just being so much about people and the human experience, and that's when it brought me back in. So it was awesome.
Yeah, this is very funny because even though it is clearly a movie about Diana, like Homer is the more interesting character in some regards. In some ways, yes, because I still don't like him. And here's why. He's the one determining what a perfect replacement Diana is. And, like, who is he to make that decision? So Diana 2 being like, no, do it again. Her doing that, but I doubt Diana 3 said the same thing. Homer's the one who... And, like, Diana 3 did not seem to have the physical defects that 2 did. Was everything else the same except that she hates Homer and that's it? Like, does she remember her family and her friends and her other life and now she doesn't get to live that?
He specifically says at one point she only remembers the bad things.
But isn't that only in regards to him? I think that's the implication.
I don't know. I think the implication here is that you mentioned this, that she only seems to have memories of Homer. And I find myself wondering if that is, and this is going to a level that ultimately I think is unnecessary, but it's a fun discussion. I find myself wondering if that's not also some kind of limit of the process, right? That maybe a lot of these returned memories are things that he has informed them of, right? Or things that are connected, I guess, it didn't bother me, first of all, because it just didn't even cross my mind, because those other people ultimately wouldn't have anything to do with the story they're trying to tell here. But once you pointed it out, I was like, yeah, that's interesting. But and then I immediately started thinking, and that was just, maybe it's just some limitation of what's going on here.
Yeah, it's not a criticism of the movie in
Of
any
course,
way.
yeah.
It's just me thinking of this situation. And, like, I would be so pissed. Like, I would be like, oh, it's very loving that John brought me back. I guess I'm not as annoying. Does anybody hate the podcast, though? Like, did they want me to come back? Like, I would be in my head about it. I'd be like, okay, but who didn't want me to come back? Who didn't attend the funeral? But, like, if he brought me back, and I mostly have memories with him because he's the one who fed them to the therapist, I'd be like, why the fuck are my friends and family not here then to help with this process? Like, why is it you feeding in this info? So theoretically, that's all. I just find this to be an interesting thing I've thought about a lot.
Oh, no, absolutely. Any movie like this is going to, I think what's interesting is I didn't start thinking those things until after I'd seen it a couple of times and had the good experience with it. The problem is when you start thinking about those things while you're watching the movie. And I thankfully did not have that experience.
No, me neither. It's just one I keep thinking about where I'm like, why don't I like Homer? But yet I had a scene where I liked him. I'm like, no, I still don't like Homer. I don't like that man. There's something about him, and I think it's this. He's too lovey, it's not real, and he makes bad decisions. He needs to be more practical.
Who do you think the Diana that he carries into the lake at the very beginning is? Do you think that was Diana 1, who we learn later died the night that he and Diana 5 arrived?
That's what I've been trying to figure out, because I feel like it is. There's a part of me that feels like it has to be, and at the very least, I think that's what the movie was trying to do, is this is Diana 1. That's what that start is. That is the death of her, which means that she did wake up, though. And that's the problem I have with that, is that if she was in a coma, they copied her, she never woke up. I'm a little more accepting of that than she woke up and went, make me whole again.
No, Diana 1 is the first clone.
Oh, first clone, not primary Diana, like the very first, the titular. See, I thought the first clone was 2.
No, Diana 1, because you remember when they go into that room, there's an empty bed, and there's a clipboard that says Diana 1, and then she asks, where is Diana 1, and he says, she died the night we arrived. That's where I was with her when they took her off life support, which, by the way, then makes that first chimney smoke we see in the movie where she's watching and she sees the smoke off in the distance. That's her watching them cremate Diana 1. But even Diana 1 was a clone. The original Diana is gone.
And see, I missed the bed. And so when I heard where's Diana 1, I thought she was asking, where am I? Like, where was I or something? And he's like, that was the night that you actually died. But I guess that doesn't make sense because the 18 months, that was me disconnecting my memories and forgetting parts of the movie that they very clearly spelled out.
Do you remember when she has the second kind of nightmare vision and she's talking about she like heard a woman just like coughing and like she was drowning and coughing up water? Did you figure out what that was? Did you catch that? They put it together at the end.
A psychic connection to Diana 1?
No, it was Diana 5 coming out of the clone bath, like that guy at the end of the movie. He comes out of the clone bath and he coughs up a whole bunch of water and shit. That was Diana 5 coming out of that. That's her having, because they mentioned... But that
was her... Oh, yeah, because she's having these memories in the third person.
Right, and she's like, also... Yeah, and she also, they mentioned earlier, or later on, it's like she's even having memories from before the procedure. And so Diana 5's memories from before the procedure would not be Diana, or original Diana's memories. And then I was like, oh, and then I saw... Like, the whole reason for that sequence at the end is, of course, to tell us, yeah, they're cloning these people, right? It's a regenerative cloning. Yeah. But then also you see that moment where he coughs up the water and it ties all of that back together. I really dug that.
Yeah, no, part of it is that I technically only saw that once. Or I did see it twice, but I have no memory of the first. So on my rewatch, I was just like, oh, that's freaky. I'm like... because I had no memory of it. Maybe I need to be cloned. I'm the defective version of myself. Maybe I need to go through this procedure.
We're all the defective versions of ourselves,
Well,
Michelle.
fair.
One thing I did catch on the second viewing that I actually really, really like is there's a quick moment of foreshadowing right at the beginning of this movie in one of the early conversations between Homer and Diana, where he says something. They're talking about like what it means to love somebody, and he says something to the effect of,
as long as it has nipples.
No. He's like, no, sticking around, seeing all the different versions of them, that's real love. That's real romance. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, that's clever. That's very, very clever.
I thought you were going to bring up the nipple thing, because her stoma does look like a nipple, and he had said, like, as long as it has a nipple on it. I was like,
okay.
It kind of does. It kind of does.
So there are a couple of small, potentially emotional things I still want to talk about, but I do need to try to get to this bit. Michelle, do you have any idea at all what the moment is where I exploded laughing at my TV?
No. I've been trying to think, and I have no idea.
It's when it's right before, which, by the way, now that I've had this thought quickly before I reveal, I have to do it this way. She's having the memory of right before the car accident, and they're having a chat back and forth, and at one point she says, what if I get one of those weird anal prolapses? Would you push the inside of my butt back inside my butt? And I fucking lost it. I was like, that so came out of nowhere. Like, it fits her character, right? Because they've had little bits where he calls her a pervert anywhere along the way. But it just caught me so off guard. I fucking exploded. And the brilliance of it is then 20 seconds later, if that, they have the fucking car accident, and it scared the shit out of me. That is a perfect fucking Flanagan scare. Just insanely well executed. Absolutely brilliant, keeping people off balance. I loved that whole sequence. So good.
He said he'd only push it back in once, and that's why we don't like Homer.
Yeah, I'd only push it back in once, and then I'm gone.
But then you're an expert. You could do it over and over. You did it once. Like, now you have to. You figured it out.
I don't know if this is a thing that I care to even admit that I know, but I didn't think of the stoma looking like a nipple because I thought the stoma looked like an anal prolapse.
Either way, I mean, maybe nipples actually look like anal prolapses, and this is the movie that tells us.
Yeah, on a smaller scale, they do have the cavity, not the cavity, but they have the tunnel going down inside of it, you know. So anyway,
tunnel going down. That's such a scary thing to think of.
Anything, Michelle, that maybe you want to chat about before I get into the couple of quick, possibly emotional things that I wanted to talk about?
Yeah, two things. One, ethical quandary part. There's a video game that I love called Soma that does a very similar storyline to this. Very sci-fi. But a guy has terminal illness of some sort and clones himself so that he can live, essentially. Or puts him in a deep sleep, something. But anyway, Soma, if anybody plays video games and you like this kind of thing, Soma, devastating. Such a good game. The other thing, this movie has just been in my mind because I keep thinking of all these things that the movie does not intend for me to think about. And it said one of the most off-putting, like, sexual concepts I've ever heard of. And before I get into this, reminder to everybody, I'm a very unserious person. Do not take anything I'm about to say very seriously, but it has plagued me, and it's like the thing that, like, when I took a shower earlier, I just kept thinking of the logistics of it. Dementia patient roleplay. 7 minutes 38 seconds into this movie, she asks if he wants to participate in dementia patient roleplay, and I can't stop thinking about it because it's not quite consensual non-consent, which I understand. I get why people are into that. If you have dementia, you can't really consent, so you can't do consensual non-consent. But if you don't actually have dementia and you're just pretending to kind of have dementia, but she does say patient, which implies an orderly or a doctor and their patient with dementia, and I can't condone that, but maybe the medical personnel is married to her, so therefore he can have sex with the dementia patient because they're in a loving relationship. And then it hit me. I figured this out. I've been thinking about it for 2 days. The Notebook. That was actually a very sweet romantic concept of her coming back to him and them making sweet, sweet love for possibly the last time. So that has been the biggest thing I've been thinking, because I'm like just thinking the legit, like I've never heard that before, and I couldn't wrap my head around like who would find this sexy. What are the oh, she wants to be the Notebook. That's cute.
What I love about that little bit is I completely missed that line about dementia patient role play.
Yeah, at the beginning, 7 minutes 38 seconds into it,
I love
she's
that you
talking
know
to him
the
about like
stamp.
yeah, because I paused and I went, what? On my second, like, I had to take a second about it. But she's like, how about we go upstairs and have a little dementia patient role play? She says it like that. And so it especially has been like a vocal stim. Yep. So like, I can't get it out of my head. And so I was thinking about the logistics for 2 days, and I figured out, oh no, it was sweet. It definitely was not a kinky thing.
That's what she says the first time he calls her a pervert.
Yes.
Yeah, yep. I remember now.
Yeah.
I didn't remember specifically what he said, but so I remember where it happens anyway. Speaking of timestamps, then that's a good point, because I told you there's a scene in this movie that just fucking wrecked me for a while, and it doesn't actually involve any of the primary characters at all. It happens 1 hour, 22 minutes, 45 seconds into the film and lasts almost exactly 1 minute. And it's the sequence where, at least for me, I finally understood the full extent of the relationship between Farrah and Delwyn.
I was thinking this is what you were gonna talk about. Yep.
He's out, like, they clearly, they make it very clear that she's definitely in some sort of, like, she feels very strongly for him, but I always took it, or at least to that point had just assumed he was like just another patient, and she was helping him along, helping him learn these things, helping him feel useful, and he's putting the battery back in the car, and he stands up and he says, I know how hard this all can be sometimes, thank you for not giving up. And she looks right back at him and says, no, thank you for not giving up. And I fucking broke. Man, I had to pause the movie, and I fucking broke. Because, hey, surprise, my mom died recently. We talk about it. Take a drink. But, no, like, we never had that very specific exchange, but there's so many layers to that moment, even just down to the fact that it doesn't always happen, but there are some folks who, especially if they've gone through some good therapy, they will have moments of clarity still where they can communicate ideas to people. And so just that layer of understanding, and that, I thought that was just, and so then you realize, oh, this isn't just some guy, right? This is her person. And I loved that moment so much. I thought it was so fucking rad. I also found it interesting that it sort of seemed to imply to me that this guy had some sort of, and maybe it's just because he didn't die, but I liked the implication that she wasn't even doing to him what these people were doing to their loved ones. Would she ever do it? I don't think so. But I loved that moment so fucking much. And then there's one other thing that really, like, this movie, by the way, this is an incredible cast, right? Grace Glowicki's got to play like 5 different characters, and she's fucking rad as all of them. Ben
6 characters. Diana won, very briefly.
Yeah. You think that was Diana 1 at the beginning?
That's the question you asked me and convinced me it was.
No, I don't know.
You convinced me that it was.
Well, no,
I didn't.
Because my other thought was that it might have been an earlier version of Diana 2 because of the face issue that she was experiencing at the very beginning.
Oh, that was the alternative? So
yeah,
before she started deteriorating?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
that's
that
also
might,
very sweet.
and maybe we just never even saw Diana 1. I don't know. But, so fantastic cast. Farrah and Delwyn, both great. And then Joseph and Josephina, and that's the other one, is in that sequence where he goes to see, I guess, who was Josephina 3, who was on life support, and is the only one still there because obviously the others have all been cremated. They have that he's like, did it work? And he's like, yes. And she knows he's lying, but he's also not, because he's changed what it meant for it to work, right? And I didn't have a moment where I literally took my mom off life support, but my mom was aware that, and we all knew there was going to come a time where she was going to choose to stop taking her medication, and that would be the beginning of the very end for sure. And I had talked to her one day about, hey, we talked to the nurses, and there's some of these meds we're not going to have to take anymore. And she kind of gave me this look and seemed pleased by it. And then we were just kind of talking, and I mentioned at one point that I reminded her there were a couple we were still going to take. And there was just this slight look in her face. And so, this is hard. Later that night, when everybody else was gone, I looked at her and I said, Mom, do you want to stop taking all your meds? And I got this. She kind of looked at me and just nodded. And this reminded me a lot of that. And I just feel like this movie did such a great job of understanding and reflecting the grief of loss, and then also the kind of things that people will do in that moment, because it's so much to lose, right? To the extent that you feel like you might not be able to go on, as we see with Joseph, right? Like, he's not just letting her go, he's going with her, right? Because, like, that was, because when she left, we can see, I think, in that kind of, that when she left the first time, when original Josephina died, like, that's why he did this, is that was his choice. Either I'm going to try and get her back, or I'm going to fucking kill myself. And that's ultimately, I think, what happened, but also brought things back around in an interesting way for the two of them, in yet another way that you can sympathize and totally understand.
I like that the movie does not give us a lot of patience to work with. It shows us that this has happened a lot. Mm-hmm. But the fact that Joseph is honest with Josephina while she's going through the therapy, it's not a secret that he's like that mattered a lot.
Get out of my head, Michelle. That was literally where I was going to try and take this next. I successfully
By the way, when you were crying, I'm sad I didn't have a sandwich. I could have done a good boy. Like, oh, if only.
Could have been the most beautiful thing. One of these days, Michelle. One of these days, I will cry on the podcast, and you will eat a sandwich, and it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, like, I looked around really quickly. I went, I don't have a single stack to do the thing that I said I would do last time, so that you'd stop crying.
I am glad that I was able to redirect that into another line of talking and thought so that I could get off of it. But no, this
Yep.
like it is.
That's why I wish I had a sandwich.
It's
emergency grief sandwich.
it's a really beautiful movie. Incredible cast performances. Who was your favorite performance in the movie?
I mean, it has to be Grace, right? Like,
She was incredible.
But you did say that it brought you to another thought about how Josephina and Joseph were honest about what was going on. Did you have?
Oh no, I was just going to ask you what your thoughts on that were. Yeah. Because I agree with you. Now, do I think it in any way more justifies what he did? Absolutely not. You know,
I'm the opposite. I think yes.
You think that just because he told her what he did right away, that justifies bringing her back against any possibility of consent?
But I think she consented when she knew. I think she was on board with it. And I do think that a family...
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're thinking... Okay, maybe I misread this. You're thinking that when he says he explained it all to her... he was talking about before she died, and then the procedure began. I thought he was saying that he explained it all to this version of her, because he would have to, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. So I guess that's where my confusion was coming. From my interpretation, it was. That's why I was saying I still don't think it justifies it, because I was looking at it as him just specifically explaining it to, I guess, what would be Josephina 4.
Yeah, and I think about it in both contexts, that because it doesn't say that, they never say she was in a coma. She was in a rowing accident, and probably assume that at least unconscious for a little bit. But as I have proven, you can come back and just be a little broken about it. I was not in a coma. I wish. That would have been so fun. I'm so tired. You guys don't actually put me in a coma. I don't want that. I had COVID for 6 days and it killed me because I got behind on all my shit. I can't imagine what a coma would do. Anyway, I've thought about both ways of that they could have had this discussion, but also that as a family member, or not like so much a family member, but like you would expect with a close relationship with your parents or your spouse or whatever, that they would know what you want for the end of your life. That's a good relationship. And I think I might even be interested if I was in this situation. I hope John would know, like, if this happens, like, go ahead and try if it's what you want to do. Like, I would consent to it. I would expect him to know what I would want. I don't know what Homer clearly did not get, right? But Homer has flaws in their relationship. Josephina, the two versions we saw, were both accepting and on board. So she could have been like, hell yeah, you knew that I was too young to die and I didn't want to.
Yeah,
so I think it's interesting.
That could be. I may have to go back and just see if I can find some specific details about Josephina's accident, because I was under the impression, or at least I was operating that way. Maybe I just assumed that her situation was very similar to Diana's, that she had died in such a way that it was like she not necessarily was in a coma, but it was like a very quick thing, or a very a loss in some of that way, to where like this is the process that they're going through, and that he told her after she was regenerated. But yeah, who knows, man? I'll have to look and see if I can sort it out.
We're definitely looking into this so much more than either anybody involved in. They're like, stop picking apart our movie. This was supposed to be a cute little romantic thing, but I can't stop thinking about it. And she had to be alive for at least a little bit after the accident, because he had to track down these people and they had to come make a copy of her brain while she's in a coma, because that's the process, as we learned from Grace.
Did they make a copy of her brain, though?
I don't know how they did it, but they said they had to do something when she was in a coma.
Right, okay, fair enough. Maybe that is part of it. Yeah, I didn't catch that. There are details in this. Like I said earlier, this is not a movie you can watch casually. Like, I'll probably find out a lot more stuff when I watch it a third time, which I definitely will. Even though
I hate
it's
that
2
I'm
hours
fixated
long.
on it. How dare they? How dare they? I don't like that I have to keep thinking about dementia patient role play. How dare they?
So Grace Glowicki is incredible here, but like, I guess one other thing that I wanted to also mention is this movie is fucking beautiful. right? Like, they shot it on film, or at least if it's not, if it's like a digital effect making it look like film, it looks like fucking film. But it looks fantastic. I love that the whole thing, not just the whole cinematography style, is very reminiscent of like 1970s, especially 1970s Eurotrash horror, like giallo movies and that sort of stuff. Even going back even a little bit further, like into the 60s kind of gothic horror, all these like very arch like zooms and push-ins, and so it made me feel like not only is the movie itself a period piece set in the 1970s, but we also made the movie look like it was a 1970s movie. Just beautiful cinematography, the soundtrack, the way they worked it, some of these interesting songs, and then also the orchestration. There's some delightful little, like, very simple, like, clarinet oboe pieces in this that are just adorable. I'm so blown away by the story and the way the movie plays out. I almost forgot to mention, it's also a fucking incredible production, a beautifully made film.
The whole thing was AI. Wouldn't you be furious?
I will stab you, Michelle.
Wow, it's so good now. Yeah, great. Happy
Fuck
about
Darren
it.
Aronofsky.
Oh my god, you guys, we'll get into it. And Michelle, I should have brought that to Michelle in the news, but I was so mad that I just forgot to put it on the list.
Did you hear the latest hilarity from Netflix?
No.
Netflix
Maybe. Tell me what the hilarity is first.
Netflix, which has made it very, very clear that they intend to use AI technology to create content,
Yep.
is going after Chinese AI groups for creating AI content with Netflix intellectual property. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me?
I prefer ethical quandaries around whether you should clone a loved one when they're in a coma, but instead we're stuck with gigantic corporations fighting over who gets to make the fake content and who owns it. I'm not even as opposed to AI as a lot of my friends groups are. Like, I'm opposed to generative image AI, anything along those lines, but like AI as a whole, cool. Can it help us solve medical issues? Cool. Like, that kind of like computational thinking I think is great. I don't think it of being available to the public is a good idea. That was bad. But all of this creative realm bullshit is like, I don't need this. Like, I don't care. Good Boy took how many years to make, and it's the best movie of 2025. I know, it was rhetorical. But it took 3.5 years. I'm okay with somebody taking their time and getting a reward at the end of, look at how good this movie is. If I know somebody took a half hour to make a thing, I'm going to be like, that was cool. I can see how much effort you put into it. It's not a lot, and I don't care as much. Unlike Honey Bunch, where they clearly put so much effort into the details of this thing, and as far as like the technological parts of it, like the camera's great, all that, but like the dialogue's great. AI didn't write it. It would not figure out like how to make us talk about whatever for an hour. Anyway, I'm really mad
I
about
love that
AI.
I just got Michelle off on a little wow, that was not the choice of words I wanted to use. Holy shit.
I got off on a little.
I should set what
AI
I said
does
was I
get me
got
off.
Michelle
Yep.
off, and what I meant to say was I
know.
set Michelle off
Yep.
on a rant about
I got
AI.
off on
Holy
AI.
shit, don't
Yeah.
let John
It's all right.
listen. He'll get the wrong fucking idea.
He'll love it. He'll show up and be like, hey, I got you something. It's just a little AI generator on his phone and be like, I heard you're into this. AI is a huge part of my job right now, of course, because I'm corporate. And my job, for the record, is correct about our stance on AI, and they believe it's overhyped.
I agree
but
with you.
It's a huge discussion.
Obviously, I agree with you 100%. Like, AI that is rooted in and fed off of just the collected, like, factual human knowledge and, like, all the complex math and science and details. I just, fuck you if what your AI... I don't even have a problem with the idea of generative AI. My problem is with the idea of generative AI, trained and fed off literally billions of pieces of stolen artwork. That's the problem.
Meant to replace those same humans.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Yeah.
The only time I'm
we've done this
okay.
a million times already.
Yeah. The only time I'm okay with it is if I get like a little 30-second clip of like a woman opening her door, finding a dog sitting there, and the dog explodes into diarrhea and the grandma goes flying into the clouds, because I'm like, that didn't replace a single person. Nobody was going to make this. This person made this, and I laughed for like 2 seconds, and it was just bullshit that nobody is profiting off of. They're not intending to profit off of it. Fine. If it's just to like put shit out there that's like funny, but when people are like, I actually made a movie. I made a McDonald's ad that is actually being aired on TV with the intention of getting profits off of it, then I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Just put some effort in. Don't put any effort into the grandma being exploded by dog diarrhea. That's fine. Or a gigantic cat running through a house and completely destroying it. I get a lot of those sent to me, and they're stupid as fuck, but like, nobody was gonna make that. I'm fine. That did not replace a job. But, God.
Oh, man. So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this movie, but except, man, please, if you let us ruin everything for you, I still think you should go check it out.
There's still so much. We didn't get into like Joseph and Josephina's difference of how they do the exercises and the therapy different than Homer and Diana do.
Yeah.
They have a completely different dynamic. Like, there's so much. Go watch the guys dancing, doing the little jig in the room. You can't see that. You can picture it, but you're wrong. Like, you have to go see it.
Before we wrap up here, Michelle, I actually got curious, and they have, in fact, announced the March release schedule for Shudder. So let me just hit a couple of highlights here on the originals that we'll likely be talking about. Looks like there's going to be 2 of them. Shudder original dropping Friday, March 13th. It's a new found footage film called Body Cam, a Shudder original. What do you know about Body Cam, Michelle?
You know that I absolutely love, anything found footage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if this is the one I'm thinking of, it was originally out very limited in the fall. Does it say original or exclusive?
It's an original.
That's an original? Okay. Well, then it's also possible that my release date's wrong.
No, and original and
like,
exclusive aren't terribly like...
Yeah.
It's an interesting crossover on how they work. Like, a lot of originals are films that were picked up on festivals, right? Like, they didn't necessarily help pay for the production. I don't remember what the exact difference between the two is.
Okay. Well, either way, if it is the one that I've heard about, it doesn't mean that's going to be good.
It's
but
about
I have
some
heard
cops.
of it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, no, never mind. I guess body cam can always be cops, so, like, there could be multiple cop found footage.
Let's see here. 2 police officers show up to investigate a domestic dispute, and escalation leads to a tragic accident.
Yay! Yep. I haven't been able to find it, and this is why it's on Shudder. Cool.
Here's before, and then also on Friday, March 27th, we get, of course, Jeremiah Kipp's The Mortuary Assistant, based on Brian Clark's viral sensation video game.
Yep. Which I might, I've told you that I haven't played it with, like, my hands or controlling the character. It's a Spookum Game Night thing. We've watched Brock play it, and I might try to play it a little bit. Sure. Part of it is I get very motion sick with that type of game, but before we record, I got a month. I can take some Dramamine and do it in little 1-hour increments like I've had to do with so many other games. Again, brain injury, like Grace. She's going to have a hard time with any FPS going forward.
One last thing, though, that I wanted to bring up here, looking at those new releases in March. You know what other little bit of information you might want to know about Body Cam, Michelle?
I mean, I don't. You haven't said it yet. Is it AI made?
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
You know what it is made?
What?
It is made, written and directed by Brandon Christensen.
That name immediately struck anxiety into my heart. Is that okay, it's one of the people who I said something shitty about their movie, and then they heard it.
Oh no,
Which
no, you're
movie?
thinking of
No?
no, he's the guy who did the Puppet Man and Superhost.
Yeah, I talked so much shit about Puppet Man, and he went on Twitter and he went, well, to be fair, and I felt miserable because I was talking about, like, oh, of course the white woman in the police station with a gun doesn't get shot down. Like, wow, white privilege. And he was like, well, to be fair.
Oh, I thought...
That was Puppet Man.
Well, then who was the fucking guy who, Oh, no, I'm thinking of the dude who got mad at me because I gave his movie a 2.5. God forbid.
Oh, see?
No.
It's not just me.
Okay.
Going off on
So
movies.
I guess you are. Well, I'm kind of excited because I really love Puppet Man. A couple of other quick highlights coming out in Shudder. The 90s version, or at least part of it, of In Search of Darkness lands on the very 1st of March.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Also, what was the other one I wanted to mention? Oh, yes. Available March 22nd. Michelle... It's finally here. We may have to do an episode about it if we can make it work. She Loved Blossoms More.
Fucking
I
finally.
know, right?
I learned about that movie at least 2 years ago. And the artwork on IMDb makes me so uncomfortable that I removed the image from my database.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
don't look at it anymore.
Yeah, if you got
it's
like
really
weird...
uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, it's got like
whatever.
trypophobia, and then also just some like...
Yeah.
Like some weird body horror stuff going on. Yeah, it's gross.
I'm excited to watch it, but I
love
hated looking at it so much.
I will recommend, Michelle, that you do not look at this article that tells what's coming up, because they do mention one thing that I think you will not want to know about She Loved Blossoms More. I don't mind because I'm already
very
knew,
good
but...
at skimming. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm excellent at just reading headlines and going on. Like, apparently so many other people in our world today. Am I right?
All right.
Okay.
So that's all I got to offer. You got anything else you want to talk about here, Michelle?
No, I think watching you go get pickles, I think I'm going to have some pickles and then I'm going to go sleep.
Pickle,
That's
pickle,
my plan.
pickle. All right, then.
Yep,
Say
I
goodnight,
need to go
Michelle.
get some pickles. Okay. Good night, Michelle.